The wind had a sharp, cold tooth that morning, one that nipped at the windows of the cozy little house by the river. Inside, Mama Cat's two little kittens, Mimi and Max, were huddled by the fireplace, but the fire was low on wood. They pulled a thin blanket around their shoulders, their little whiskers trembling. Max sneezed, a tiny achoo. That made Mama Cat's heart ache.
Okay?
The small house felt a little barer, a little colder, as the autumn chill truly set in. Mimi was looking at their favorite picture book, her little paw tracing the outline of the magnificent creature on the page. It was a tiger. It looked so strong, so brave, and so incredibly warm in its thick, striped coat. "Mama," Mimi whispered, her voice small. "Why are we so cold?" But the tiger is never cold. Mama Cat came over and stroked her head. "Because, my sweet, the tiger has a beautiful, thick coat made perfectly for it."
Why are the
Max piped up,
pictures so
his eyes
sad?
wide with a new idea. "Mama, I want to be brave like the tiger. If we had tiger hats, we wouldn't be cold. And we could do big roars." He tried to roar, but it came out as a shiver. Mama Cat looked at their hopeful, shining faces. A tiger hat. It was such a specific, wonderful dream. She looked at her paws, then at the near-empty coin jar on the shelf. There was no money for store-bought hats, and even if there were, where would one find a hat made of tiger stripes? A pang of sadness hit her. She never wanted to tell her kittens no. She hugged them close. "Let Mama think," she whispered, her mind already racing. She had no fine fabrics, no colorful yarn, no money for the market. But what she did have was determination. She had a bicycle, and she had an idea. She remembered her friend, Farmer Sheep, who lived a few miles down the road. His woolly coat was the thickest and warmest in the entire valley. "Kittens," she said, her voice full of newfound purpose. "You stay here and be good for Papa. Mama has an important errand to run. We will see about these tiger hats." She put on her thin shawl, grabbed her old, sharp trimming shears, and got on her sturdy bicycle. The ride was difficult. The wind pushed against her,
Mama Cat.
whistling through the spokes
Money
of the wheels, and the basket on the front felt empty and light. The path to the farm was rocky, and she had to pedal hard, her legs burning. But the image of her two shivering kittens pushed her forward. When she arrived, Farmer Sheep's farm was in a flurry. The wind was howling, and Farmer Sheep himself was braced against a fence, looking miserable. His magnificent, thick white coat was so overgrown it was catching the wind like a giant sail. He was being tugged and pulled by every gust. "Oh, Mama Cat," he bleated. "I am so heavy, and this wind is a bully. I cannot see, and I can barely stand. My spring shearing is long overdue." Mama Cat's heart leaped with a plan. "Farmer Sheep," she said kindly, "I can help you. I have my sharpest shears. I can give you a nice, neat trim so the wind will pass right by you. It will be a lot of work, but I would be happy to do it." Farmer Sheep was overjoyed. "You would do that? Oh, thank you. But I have nothing to pay you. You have exactly what I need." Mama Cat smiled, pointing to the thick piles of wool. "If I trim you, may I keep the fleece I cut?" "It's a deal," he cried. And so, Mama Cat set to work. This was not a quick task. The wool was incredibly thick, tangled with bits of straw or leaf. She started at the neck, her paws moving with a practiced, gentle care. The shears made a rhythmic snip, 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 a metallic sound against the soft whoosh of the wind. She was meticulous. She made sure not to pull the skin,
Don't you worry,
to stay calm
sweet
and
sheep.
steady. Her
It's a
motions like a
beautiful
slow,
day,
careful
and
dance.
I'm right here
She worked
with
her way
you.
down his back, the heavy fleece falling away in great, creamy white clouds onto a clean tarp she had laid down. It was hard work. Her back began to ache, and her paws grew stiff from gripping the shears, but she kept going. Snip, snip, snip. With every cut, she thought of Mimi and Max. Hours passed. Finally, the last piece of matted wool fell away. Farmer Sheep stretched, feeling light and free for the first time in months. "Oh, I feel wonderful," he cheered, doing a little jump. "You are a lifesaver, Mama Cat." Mama Cat, tired but triumphant, gathered the massive pile of raw wool. It was more than she could have hoped for. She stuffed it into a large burlap sack, thanked the farmer, and carefully balanced the giant, fluffy bag on the back of her bicycle. The ride home was even harder. The bag was heavy and awkward, but her heart was light. She had the materials. She arrived home as the sun was beginning to set, painting the sky in shades of orange. She smiled. That gave her another idea. She kissed her kittens, who were sleepy and curled up with Papa, and took the bag of wool to the yard. First, the wool had to be cleaned. It was raw, filled with dirt, twigs, and the natural, oily lanolin. She filled her biggest metal tub with hot water from the kettle and a small bit of soap. She pushed the fleece into the water, pressing it down gently, watching as the water immediately turned a murky brown. She let it soak, then drained the tub and refilled it. Again and again and again. She rinsed it with cool, clear water until the water ran pure and the wool was a brilliant, cloud-like white. She spread it on a clean rack to dry by the last embers of the fire. The next morning, the real magic began. The kittens were still asleep when she went to her garden. She needed colors. She pulled up 3 of her largest, brightest orange carrots. Then, she went to the old walnut tree at the edge of the property and gathered a basket of dark, fallen walnut husks. She was a resourceful cook, and she knew these would make the perfect dyes. She set 2 large pots of water to boil on the stove. Into one, she chopped the bright orange carrots, watching as the water slowly turned a vibrant, sunny orange. Into the other, she placed the dark walnut husks, which soon brewed into a deep, rich brown that was almost black.